Obadiah is a lesser-known yet deeply inspiring figure in the Bible, particularly featured in the Old Testament during the reign of King Ahab of Israel. His name means servant of Yahweh or worshipper of Yahweh, which beautifully reflects his character and life. Though only briefly mentioned in 1 Kings 18, his role was significant in one of the darkest periods of Israel's spiritual history. Obadiah served as the chief steward or palace administrator under King Ahab, a notoriously wicked ruler who, along with his wife Queen Jezebel, led Israel into idol worship, particularly of the false god Baal. Despite serving in a corrupt court, Obadiah remained faithful to the true God, living out his convictions quietly and courageously. One of the most notable acts of Obadiah was his heroic and secret effort to save 100 prophets of the Lord from Jezebel's massacre. He hid them in 2 caves, 50 in each, and provided them with food and water. A dangerous mission that put his own life at risk. This single act demonstrated his deep reverence for God as well as his quiet bravery. In 1 Kings 18, Obadiah has a dramatic encounter with the prophet Elijah, who asks him to deliver a message to King Ahab. Though afraid for his life, Obadiah obeys. His conversation with Elijah reveals a man of tension between faith and fear, yet ultimately one who chooses obedience to God. Obadiah lived during the time of the divided kingdom, when Israel in the north was ruled by kings who generally did evil in God's sight. It was a time of spiritual decline, idolatry, and persecution of God's prophets. The court of Ahab was especially hostile to the worship of Yahweh, making Obadiah's secret allegiance even more courageous. Though some scholars debate whether the Obadiah of 1 Kings is the same person as the prophet Obadiah, who wrote the book of Obadiah, most agree they are likely different individuals. The prophetic book deals with the judgment of Edom and is not linked directly to Ahab's reign. Obadiah's story holds powerful relevance for modern believers. In a world where people of faith are often pressured to conform, Obadiah teaches us how to live faithfully even in difficult or compromising environments. His life is a testimony that you don't have to be loud to be bold. Quiet obedience, integrity, and doing what is right behind the scenes can have eternal value. Many of us may feel like we're not in a position of influence, yet Obadiah used his position within a corrupt system to serve God's purposes. This shows that God places his people in strategic positions, even within broken systems, to do his work. Whether we work in government, business, education, or the arts, we can be Obadiahs, servants of God who quietly make a difference. Obadiah stands as a quiet hero of the Bible, a man who feared God more than man and took bold action when it mattered most. Though he lived in a palace filled with idolatry, he remained loyal to the true king. In our world today, Obadiah challenges us to be faithful, courageous, and obedient, even when no one else sees. His life reminds us that true faith often shines brightest in the darkest places.